And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And joy of joys today, we get to finish off this rad farm. I've been looking forward to getting this up and running because normally I thought you had to freeze stuff. You know what? Let's just get started. First off, we were busy cooling down this nuclear waste. So far, we've got it down to about 124 to 126 C in here, which is not low enough. So it's going to need to go a lot lower, which means we're going to hook up a pump there. And that's going to start pumping the nuclear waste through here and then do a series of 4 aqua tuners. So 125 C going in should be minus 56? Yeah, 56 it should come out at. Or minus 150, or minus 56 C. So it goes through all of them and done. Coming out at 69.4. We will have to run this through again. So a double loop, but we need to get this down. God, your timing is terrible. We're still doing this with the gunk. So gunk is becoming more and more of a problem. Namely because, well, we got so many more dupes. In fact, I think we're running into a Secom leaf problem. Yeah, Secom leaf is definitely going down. We need the Secom leaf combined with water to make the lubricant for the boops. We're going to need to start farming that Secom leaf a little bit more aggressively. But on the bright side, we do have a potential Secom leaf farm here once we finish this farm. All right, how are we looking? Yeah, that's going to burn through an absolutely gobsmackingly large amount of power. I think we still have a little bit of overproduction on the grid, but that's starting to become, well, less and less of a concern, namely because we're running 40 boops. 40 boops consume an absolutely cataclysmic amount of power banks. We may have to expand out our nuclear footprint here. A second one of these might be entirely necessary just to keep this running, but that can wait. We've actually got 9 boops currently in training. While waiting for the very, very slow processing of all of this nuclear waste into slightly less hot nuclear waste, we have installed ourselves a little Secom farm over here. Now this was a little bit tricky to set up, but it worked in the end, just about. All it is 3 layers of liquid. The bottom layer is brine, and then there's a little bit of an overflow of liquid naphtha here. We use liquid naphtha instead of viscogel here because viscogel is very light and would have floated, and we needed that liquid naphtha to stop the water pushing out. Then we put down a layer of salt water, and then on top of that we put a layer of water. Well, we deconstructed these metal tiles first, poured on the water, wasn't sure that was going to work, and then once we poured on the water we replaced the metal tiles, and boom, we now have all of these sections in here capable of supporting Secom leaf. And once we get the radiation in there as well, they should start mutating. Though I have not tested whether or not the water is going to block a lot of the rads. Probably should have tested that beforehand. But you know what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At this point, I am so pot committed to making this work that I'll figure it out one way or the other, even if you have to start compressing the nuclear waste. For to avoid that and do it like a nice, easy way, but for now, we're just going to wait until this is finished. Actually, on second thoughts, that's taking too long and I need to do something or I'll go crazy. So, move the beds? Yeah, we'll move the beds. What are you? I don't even remember. Oh, you're the eco banks. Yeah, we store the power banks up here close to the communal dining tables. In fact, we're starting to run low on those. 100 units seems a little bit too weak sauce. Let's just throw in an extra 30 of those to make sure we don't run out anytime soon. Moving the beds. Easy peasy. And let's make them out of iridium because, yes. That looks about right. We'll immediately demolish these beds over here because we need to make way for more ranches. I've also underpopulated the ranches, but we'll get back to my stupidity in a minute. Hey, guys, you want to find your new beds? There's like beds over there. What are you doing? Get up off the ground. Muppets. Never mind. Messed around with the schedules a little bit. They're now up in their new beds. Perfect. It gives us some extra bedrooms. I wasn't sure if we actually had enough at this point. We've got so many little oops. All right. Oh, that is so many microchips. I thought we had a microchip storage. Oh, we did. It's full. Couple of extra microchip storages, maybe? You know what? You two over there. We can fill those up super quick. And we can get rid of this whole bedroom down here and prepare it for ranchification. Took a while, but we now have a lovely container full of about 69 C nuclear waste. A little bit over. All we have to do is run that through 3 thermal aqua tuners, and that should get it down to the prerequisite temperature, which means it's just a case of rejigging the plumbing a bit. So we just sever it from those, and then we've run a pipe through here already. So go into that one. Ooh, sever that. Then we'll get you out on this one. Sever this again. I remember the days when you didn't have the disconnect tool, or as it was called when they made the mod for it, the pliers. Pliers is absolutely just without pliers, this whole game just wouldn't be the same. All right, you. I think we'll just run you all the way over. Actually, we don't need ceramic for this. What am I doing? Sedimentary rock is perfectly acceptable. We just don't want it changing a lot of temperature just yet. So, end of the day, we're sending it down here, and we're just going to start pouring it into all these different tiles. Ooh, Christian, you're hurt? How? Must have got zapped by a rad bolt. Never mind, we'll send you in for a little bit of R&R. And by that I mean intense medical attention. Do I have one of the rad farms open? I must. Nope, you're not allowed in there. And you're not allowed in there. Okay, so they're not getting stung by bees. Has to be rad bolts, right? I really can't figure out how they're getting hurt otherwise. These things are non-aggressive. Has to be the rad bolts, but it seems improbable that they're going to get hit that frequently. It's just the dupes stand here so they can't get jabbed unless... Maybe they're going over this direction? You know what? Let's just... Nope, actually it's a bad idea. That would block the rad bolts. That way they can't get down the other side. So what might be happening is they might be coming up here, and while they're standing here, they take a rad bolt to the face. Maybe? That's all I can think of right now. Hopefully that will cut down... it seems like going down the... No. Stop worrying about it. Over here. Finish off that insulated piping run. The reason we're using insulated piping is we don't want this stuff changing temperature on the way there. Changes temperature too much, we might end up with solid nuclear waste in the pipes, which will break them all. We also have an awful lot of very industrious dupes going on right now. That is a ridiculous amount of them. Just look at them go. Something to be said for having an awful lot of builders, diggers on a map this size. Alright, once you finish that off, we are going to hook up the... Come on, 2 more pipes, that's all you need. Yeah, and we can start. Waste starts flowing. Let's make sure this doesn't mess up. It's 69. 69.3. Gonna drop by 14 degrees for each one of these. Don't break. 27.3. Perfect. Actually, that's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that'll do. Now, let's hope that this stuff's not too cold in here. 29 to 28.9. We're trying to get this whole thing to just under 30 degrees. I think this is going to be absolutely perfect. How are we doing? Perfect. A little bit of rads will now come off that. Oh, and we've also got rads coming from space, which will confuse things a little bit. So you're getting 12 rads, 14, 15. Yeah, so rads are slowly going up. Excellent. This was going to take a while to fill up. We don't mind if they overflow. We're not trying to fill each one of these tiles perfectly with 1,000 nuclear waste. We're actually just going to fill them up a little bit extra. Because we don't mind if they get compressed a bit. That'll just squeeze in more rads. All right. The reason we put in all these pumps, it's very viscous, this liquid, so just squeezing them all in like this, make sure that we get all of the nuclear waste from all the way across here. What's the freezing point of nuclear waste again? I've had to look this up and do a bunch of calculations in the background, but I forget, yeah, 26.9. However, you need to go 3 degrees below that, so you need to hit about 24? Once you hit about 24, you start running into problems. As long as we stay above that, we're grand. Alright, we also now have extra Secom leaf there. Is that actually arresting our decline? 70, yes, we are actually going back up in Secom leaf, which means we can probably get rid of these, and we're going to start fertilizing these shortly. We're going to put in a little fertilizer section here, and then once we're fertilizing these, we can start radiating them as well. You know what? It's fine. We'll have to fast forward this a bit. This is a very slow process of getting all these rads in here. While that's going on, let's just check a few things that were concerning people. They were worried that these wild animals were going to get confined and starve, or confined and not reproduce. However, we left this open. There's actually gaps across the top here, and this leads out to this section, so they're exposed to the rest of the map. However, having all of these exposed might be a problem. Eventually, the whole map might become... There's just so many Rexes. It's ridiculous. You know what? We're not going to worry about it. And did any... Still no meat in that conveyor receptacle. Not a single one? Seriously? Huh. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens long term. Oh, over here. This actually over-chilled. As in, the brine in here was down to 12C, which are starting to become a problem. So all we did is we just got some pipes out here, put in some temperature shift plates, and drained some heat out of this to drive its temperature back up. Once it hit about 20 degrees or so, we're like, okay, we'll disconnect it. So we need to make a more permanent solution for this at a later date. And we also need to make a more permanent solution for the amber melting. Ooh, actually, that might be some project to start working on. Or should we make another nuclear reactor so that, you know, we're not constantly worrying about power? We're actually hitting that point now where power is starting to become a problem. Maybe the Saturn critter traps, I think it might be your time to shine. And down here, oh, actually, let's open the doors for now. Down here, we're going to let them in so that they can extract the last of everything, including all of the seeds. Currently have 38 Saturn critter traps, plus another 6 that are planted here. One where, we should be able to make multiple farms of these, and we can use them to boost power production. Our nuclear reactor is pretty much maxed out now, and we're still actually digging into these guys occasionally. You'll see the last 5 cycles, it's been up by 50. It's actually been used 15% uptime. That is because, well, we just turned on all of those aqua tuners. And at the same time, we were in the middle of a recharge cycle. Oh, wow. They're all being used still. Might be time to extend this on a little bit. Actually, yeah, that's a nice little side project to take care of. Some of these chargers are made out of gold. That's unacceptable. That's wasting 100 gold that could be turned into a power cable, which is far better use for this stuff. It's just the decor malus on these heavy watt conductive wires is pretty high, and using gold basically really reduces it, which is why the gold generally ends up as a heavy watt conductive wire. Which means we're just going to delete a few more of these. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of them. Yeah, we'll replace those real quick. And over here, how are we looking? We're doing some fiddling about. You're full, so let's cut you off for a bit. Oh, you filled up too. So have you. Which means we'll just fill over that section and then maybe spread it out a little bit. Yeah. Oh, looking good. Like, we have not got around to doing the second layer or anything like that, or enough compression. There's not enough rads here. There's 180-ish. Ooh, 200 there. 211. Yeah, a little bit more waste going in here. We might have, I think we have too much coming out of here, but we can always just sever the line to stop more coming through. But I think this might actually work, which, you know, is a good thing considering how much time has been invested into it. All right, we need a whole bunch more iridium chargers down here. Kind of feel like I should move this somewhere else, but at the same time, it does require cooling and a bunch of other stuffs, and that's all in this location. We could move it at a later date. It's just really want to get these farms up and running. All right, you guys, to help us just tie this over a little bit longer, we're going to allow access in here for a bit. And we're going to turn all of these rooms into power rooms so they can get boosted. This way we'll get a 50% bonus to all power production. Now, I am concerned that dupes going in here or boops going in there may get a little bit radiated. But worst case scenario, we can seal off doors to the top one. Right now, they still can't get into the core of the reactor, which is good. So all of these rooms should now be... Come on. Yeah, there you go. You're already overclocking them. This means we shouldn't have to worry about power for, well, quite a bit longer. All right, now where were we? Yes, over here. This is a little trick we're going to try. Now, down on this section, there is 1,000 kgs of nuclear waste. Nuclear waste doesn't compress that easily, so even though there's nuclear waste on top of it, they all end up going to about 1,000 kgs, except for that tile, which is at 998.8, because it just wants to mess with me. However, when we place this tile, it's going to displace all the waste around it. So there's 600 kgs of 616. Yeah, let's see. 616. That displaced 205 kgs. So about a third of it went down. Which means if we do the same thing here, it'll displace that nuclear waste. Now, the reason we're doing that is basically just to do with how much rads it generates. For example, this is now at 251 rads. We need 250 rads to make mutated plants grow. Mutated plants... Let me grab a seed real quick. Here is a mutated exuberant bog bucket. And you'll notice there it says minimum radiation plus 250 rads a cycle. Every single mutant requires radiation to grow. Well, you also need radiation to make a mutant, but once you have them, they need radiation to actually survive. That's why nuclear waste is so useful. And by compressing that nuclear waste into a tile, we can get ourselves just that little bit extra oomph out of it. 1,000 kgs of nuclear waste here, here, and here is just not quite enough. But you compress a little bit of nuclear waste in there, and you use gold amalgam because it has a very poor ability to block rads. And we should be able to make all 3 tiles quite radioactive. How are you looking? 208 rads a cycle. You know what? Doesn't matter. We're going to do you as well. You've got 760. Yeah, we're definitely doing you as well. What are you at? You're only at 630, but still, that's plenty good for us. And the rest of them we can hold off on. So what we'll do is, since all the rest of those are pretty much done, we'll cut off the flow of rads. And instead we'll move it a little bit further back. We're basically just going to wait till all these are about 600 kgs. That way we should be able to gram 1,200 kgs into the bottom tile beneath it. But as we push these in, it should compress some nuclear waste over this direction. We might end up with slightly more than we bargained for. You know what? A little bit extra nuclear waste. Not gonna worry about it. Oh, you're already done. Well, that one took a few minutes, but I think we've successfully managed to cram in about 1,200 kgs into just about all of them. 1,200 kgs isn't entirely necessary. 1,100 will do just fine. But, well, in testing, 1,100 kgs did fine, but I had not accounted for the water, so a little bit overpressure is fine. Also, don't worry about overpressurizing the tiles. The things that will give out first will be the hydroponic tiles. They give out about 1,600 to 1,700 kgs of pressure. Metal tiles are about 100 kgs beyond that. This is gold metal tiles, that is. The reason I'm using gold, it blocks the least radiation. Gold amalgam blocks the least radiation. By using those, we ensure that we don't cause any problems. Oh, you. That's... Why are you only on 998? You're being wonky. Stop that. Fine, whatever. So we'll cut you off. We'll cut you off. You're also now full, so we'll cut you off. Cut you off. And we're basically just teasing this along. I should probably come up with a way to automate this, but that might be a while. Oh, I think we're done. Let's check rads. 300, 329, 350, 280, 280, 280, 260, 280, 260, 300, 290, 277, 274, 280, 285, 279, 274, 275, 276, 277. Let me just show you a test map of how to deal with this, because this is an unusual way of dealing with this problem. Also, what are we going to do with all that tasty, tasty nuclear waste? You know what? I think we're going to feed it back into this. Yeah, that might be our best bet. So, yeah, something like that, and it will pour back over there and just cancel all of this. Done. And, yep, sever all these lines. Worst case scenario, we can go back and grab it in a bit. It might heat up a bit because that stuff's all a little high temperature. But this nuclear waste has an awful lot of mass in it. Okay, but we do have to get rid of some of this. Problem is, I'm pretty sure plants can't grow in the nuclear waste itself. So we're going to have to mop this stuff up. Problem is, I think that will cause issues where it will remove too much nuclear waste. Though we might find out in a minute. Too much liquid? You know what, it's fine. Once we remove this batch, that should dip down in theory. Wait, where are you going? Where are you storing the nuclear waste? Oh, I've forgotten about this. This actually puts it into the store. Oh, yeah, no. Not anymore. We want to probably dump it in here. Which means bottle emptiers. Yeah, we need to probably do that a little bit quickly because all of this stuff is going to start breaking out of containment very shortly. So if all of our boops could get on that real quick, that would be wonderful. While we wait for this to build, I was just having a quick check over here, and it's mostly good. You can see 259, 259, you know, none of them, 220, 255, 259. Like, they're all just about in the green. The tiles beside them, not so much, but the actual ones where the plants will be growing. However, the two end ones, that's 234, 238. Maybe we need to cram in a little bit more. What we're going to do, we're going to deconstruct you. 265 in there. What's in there? 235. I'm going to deconstruct you as well. Now, if you could get around to that real quick, then squish him again. This time, we should get in a little bit. Oh, actually, no. I think we want more nuclear waste in there. One moment. Right, this time, what we've done is we have put a lot of nuclear waste there, so hopefully this will compress it down a bit more. Oh, there was gold. One second, let's just get that gold amalgam out of there. I just don't want to leave any garbage in there. It feels... Ugh. I think the problem is the rads from each tile extends 2 tiles, so realistically we should have another blob of rads over here that should be contributing. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. We should be able to make this work. If we lose a tile on each end, it would be inconvenient, though. Okay, please work. No. It just got in 1260. Fucker. Thing is, I wanted to avoid using compression tricks using liquid nuclear, like basically this, because it kind of felt messy and weird. This, however, has also just ended up being messy and weird due to shenaniganry. Probably should have done more testing, but this was just... It seemed so much fun to just lay it out this way. Oh, come on. Stop that. Okay, I gotta figure out a way to deal with that gunk mess later in a bit. Maybe we should just make a gunk tank. There's so much of it at this point. It took a little shenanigans, but got 258 rads there, which makes this usable. The way we did it, well, let's hope it works over here, is we basically crammed 1,500 kilos of liquid nuclear waste down there, which... Not that hard. We just actually filled up the blocks either side, and then now when we put in this hydroponic farm tile, it should compress it down to 1,500 kgs. If it doesn't, there's other tricks we can do, but it should work. And anyone want to come over here and get installing that? All right, do it. 1,500. Okay, so if you want 1,500 kgs of compressed nuclear waste in a single tile, that's all it takes. That would have been good to know beforehand. Not necessary, but good to know. Then we just deconstruct these. You might have to move some nuclear waste back in. How is our nuclear waste processing going? Still perfectly fine. Yeah, we got loads left over. May have overdone the nuclear waste cooking. Happens. Just to simplify these things, we're going to relocate a bunch of nuclear waste over here and then just pop them. We'll empty that out. It'll flow either side, and then we'll fill up those 2 sections, and we should be able to finish this thing off. You can get swept. You can get swept as well. Yeah, you see, there we go. Perfect. Downside is I kind of want to keep some little nuclear waste over there. What's the rads looking like? 263. Okay, we got plenty. It's just having a little bit of rads, extra rads from a few kilos on the side. You can have 90 kilos of liquid nuclear waste on top of a blob and it won't spread out. So 15 kgs is nice. What if we just brick it in? That'd work, right? Ooh, 101 kgs. Oops. Never mind. My mistake. We did a little bit of a modification there. We got it up to 80 kgs, and now, fully radiated, 257, 258 rads. Basically, every single tile along here is perfectly acceptable to run some bog buckets in there. Now you, shell piping, you go to 29C. Feels a little bit hot. Oof. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'd prefer if I didn't accidentally do something like, I don't know, overheat this entire section. And we also made sure that they were made of radiant. Well, it's just if they're radiant, we don't have to worry so much. As in, we can just start piping in hotter water if needs be. Or colder. You are granite, so what we're going to do is have you overflow across here. Oh, yeah, we are actually going to have the boops back in. Done? Give us a bog bucket, shall you? And exuberant. Plant it. We'll copy that in a second, but yeah, I think we have enough to start filling this out. Each 0.6 of these is equal to a single, or is equal to 1 lum. We don't want this out of nickel. We are going to want this out of iridium, because we are fancy that way. Oh, so damn it, I'd forgotten about that. I think we need to brick in some tiles here. This room is 121 tiles in size, which is problematic slightly. 1 second while we brick some stuff in. And are we small enough yet to be a farm? Nope, not quite yet. Damn it. What's the plan here again, Francis? You had a plan, right? You knew what you were doing. 96, so we need to get rid of 3 more tiles. We need that to make it a farm, and I think we could probably compress some waste down here. I think that might be our best bet, though I think we're going to chuck in some more waste first. So all we've done here is just dumped a little bit of extra nuclear waste in here. This has been horrifically messy, but we do this right. Shove in some nuclear waste. Now don't pop up. Pop to the side. Excellent. Then we can build that diagonally. And we should have plenty of rads to make this work. Alright, so next time, just put in more. Like, put in more nuclear waste and then put in these tiles earlier. If there's like 200 or 300, or if there's 1,200 kilos of nuclear waste in these top tiles as well, simplifies the whole thing quite a bit. Probably made this farm a little bit big, but I wanted to match the bottom one. We could have made it smaller and it would have saved us a bunch of effort, but what can I say? I couldn't help myself. You guys want to finish that? We're almost done. Ooh, I forgot. We need to hook you back up again. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Okay. In that case, how is our rads looking over here? Please tell me you worked. 273. Even better than before. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now we can just start planting down the crops. Oh, we had to start pulling the gas pressure out. There's 10 kgs of oxygen, or 12 kgs of oxygen in here. The bog buckets can only survive in 10. So, oops. We'll put down one bog bucket here. It might be a few minutes, but once we get at all of the gas pressure, we should be able to use this place perfectly. And finally, all of you can go. We are reasonably confident that we will not need to add any more rads to this mess. Yes. Yes, this is what we wanted. These things are absolutely ludicrous. So a bog bucket here, an exuberant mutated bog bucket, will grow 4 times faster, meaning 1.7 cycles to grow domestically, which is and on top of that, if we check this one over here, we've given this one Farmer's Touch, which doubles its growth speed. And because all of our farmers have, was it 30, I want to say? Yes, 30 agriculture. Which one did you just touch up there? I believe it was this one. That's 4 cycles. So once every 4 cycles, they just have to get touched up and doubles their plant growth. 0.85, 85% of a day for them to grow. Absolutely batty. That's just nuts. Now, you guys, I think, yes, you're going to get shipping. Conveyor loader, iridium, and we're going to put it right there, and then we're going to second one right there. That should mean all of them can access it. Then all we do is we chuck down iridium transport rails, because that's just how we roll around here. There's so much iridium. Okay, where is our... Damn it, where did I put our fridge freezer for this stuff? Oh, wow. That's, okay, it'll be a bit of a run, but that's fine. Should we put it out of the way? In fact, no, let's do this the smart way. We'll reverse it. And there, we've spent over 10 tons of the iridium on that. It'll be fine. Then we'll get rid of that ladder segment, and we'll stick in a conveyor drop-off. It'll get dropped down here. This can pick them up. We'll also have to change these farms up here to maybe do something similar. But this just is proof of concept of design. So long as it works and we can, shunt everything out of there, should be perfect. Oh, we might want to get another farmer shortly as well. I think our next boop to come online, we might want to make him a farmer so we have 3 farmers running around the place. And we also have to take care of the Alveo Vera farm. That needs some work, namely on the grounds that it just takes so much effort to keep it running. Hey, what's your load? Potential of 1440. Tell you what, why don't you add a little something on top of that? Give some more iridium. Okay, bog buckets, you have been harvested, and then you have been immediately chucked onto the rail? Or, nope, I think the boops got there before you. Can you grab it? Yes, you can. Can you get it before the boops do? Conveyor rail blocked. Oh, this is not finished? Oh, yeah. Oops. Conveyor chute. Okay, we'll stick in a quick conveyor chute there, and then they should start moving. So all that's happened is, they're stored up in here. We got 3 in there. We got, 1 more in there. Perfect. Downsides of this design is you got to use a lot of auto sweepers. Upsides, you don't need to freeze the nuclear waste. I'll go into nuclear waste a little bit more in a minute, but for now, just give me 1 more minute to stress test this. A little bit of a side quest here to put in some railings as well for this side. So right now, we have, I believe it's 8 of these here. Yeah, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 there. And then over here, we've got... that's 24, so half is 12. So we've got 12 of them there, that's 20. Now, each one can support 0.583 lums, which means we can support 34 lums on all of those plants, which means 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Yeah, we can support literally every single lum that's here. We can get rid of all of these overgrow vines. Overgrow vines are gone. We don't need them anymore. They're finished. However, it was something that was pointed at in the comments, makes me realize that I'm an idiot. You will notice that each one of these ranches only has 4 critters in it. Turns out the only reason we were doing that is, well, the overgrow vines. They took up so much space, you could only fit, and it would only support 2 lums each. So you put in 2 overgrow vines, you put in 4 lums, you're good. But we need to put in 4 overgrow vines if you wanted to support 6 lums. However, that would take up more than the 96 tiles, and you couldn't squeeze them in. But now that we've got these proper ranches over here, we can just increase this. So, give me 6. And give me 6 down here. And these guys can also go up to 6. Which means, not only are we feeding them on bog buckets, which increases their output by 50%, but we can stick in 50% more lums. So this is going to be 6 lums in one spot, producing the same output as 9 lums would down here. Meaning each one of these is worth more than 2 of these ranches. The cost efficiency savings, or the space efficiency savings, are just ludicrous. All right, which reminds me, I should probably move in a few of these lums from down here. Look at this. 6 lums, 6 blum lums, and everyone's happy. It just gladdens my heart. Now, we need to expand this substantially. We need to support 34. So we need 5 Blum Blum ranches, and we've only got 2, which means we need 3 more. So install 1, then start ripping out these ones down here. This might take a few minutes. Actually, wait. Check the skills. There's been some promotion since we were last here. Bugsy the Builder here got promoted recently. They have a minus to their science, so we just left them into hard construction. They are just really good at construction with a 20 in it. That's probably where most of our boops are going to go. Normally we'd give them the 2 digging boosters, but most of the map is gone already, and we've got enough diggers already, we don't care. Then we have Scott Stevens, not to be mistaken for Scott Sterling. This man is not quite the same level of legend. They do have a negative to the machinery, so we stuck them into plants. So we do actually have 3 planters. Good to know. They have been put on their own special schedule as well. So they're down here on schedule number 8, which is technically 9. We start at 0. They're boops. Then we've got down here all of the current recruits that are training up. We've got Strickland, Gonad, Ed Donaldson, Joku462, Ian Levesque, John Anthony, Peaky, Character String, which is probably the most apt boop name I've ever seen, and Paul Cunningham. So anyway, I believe Strickland here, I messed up with them. I was promoting them and then unfortunately missed out that they didn't have enough slots to buy their last 2, which is this and this. And we have given them a Masterwork Art and a Tidying Booster. This way they can use the Blast Shot Maker and they can also use the Clothes Refashionator and a bunch of other stuff. Just because. So Strickland here can go on the 7th schedule and that fills the first 8. All of them have 2 build diggers or defaulters who can take care of mechatronics, digging, building, all that stuff. And then on this side, we've got farmer, rancher, dog's body, science, pilot, dog's body, planter, rancher, another planter. And Jay Stanley, why are you radiated? Ah, yes, this. I think this is the very next project we're going to take care of. I think this is what's causing the injuries to our boops. They get radiation sickness, and then that slowly starts to destroy their health. And the problem is, they only dump rads when they dump their gear oil or when they dump their gunk. Since it's 3 cycles between as opposed to going to the bathroom once a cycle, this results in them getting radiation damage, which slowly degrades their health until I tell them to go to a medical bed. Kind of annoying, but we'll fix that once we get all the ranches moved. Beautiful. That's, well, plenty of lums. So you can both go. These things have actually just been soaking up quite a lot of polluted water on us. Or quite a lot of clean water out of our main tank. Now we're going to be switching over to polluted water. And done, and... Come on. Perfect. Then we can rip out all this junk. I mean, don't get me wrong. These farms have served us well, but these will serve us far better and far more efficiently. Oh, this felt so good. There was just so many random pipes, so many random power cables, so many random everything going through here, and now it's just all gone. We had 5 overgrow fig ranches right here for the blums. And that's 2, 4, 6. Like the first, like we've got 8 ranches here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We've got over 10 ranches worth now. We've effectively doubled the ranch supply because we're using these exuberant plants. True, there was a little bit of an initial setup cost to doing that. You know, nuclear reactors and all, but still, totally worth it. How are we looking on animals in here? We have 285 critters on the main map, and in here we have 267. Wow. Huh. Oh, over here, we've used the ability to section off these to make this a carbon dioxide atmosphere. This is also a carbon dioxide atmosphere. And we stuck in regular grooming stations so that, well, they'll produce lots and lots of blum lums that we can then use to restock everything. These guys over here are just normal. Ooh, tough meat. Filter that out and send it somewhere is the question. Like, the thing is, I don't think it's worth it. We have so much tough meat lying around the place, and why are we collecting plant meat? Oh, we're collecting everything in here. You know what? A bunch of this can go. Plant meat is effectively useless. And then we can copy that down to all of those. And done. How are we looking on the bog jellies? We have 817 kilos of bog jellies in storage and a full line of chilled bog jellies. Thing is, we can only support about 34 blumlums or lums with the amount of bog jellies we're getting in. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So that still leaves us 4 we could chuck in, but we're not going to do that. I like to have a little bit of overhead just in case something goes wrong. Now, this place... Ooh, what are you doing there? Oh, you must have been late after we started ripping everything out. Cancel the sweeping and relocate to there. It's fine. We also moved all the overgrow figs into this place here. Some of the lumlets can get to eat it and turn it into peat or something. Actually, 1 second. We usually use the refined carbon here to turn peat into refined carbon. I think another 99 can go. Why not? Now, where were we? Over here. How much refined carbon have we got? Oh, we kind of ate through all the refined carbon. Right. It's a good thing we started. In fact, let's also do 99 wood. So we got 99 refined carbon from peat, 99 refined carbon from wood. That should hopefully stay on top of that. Right over here. Do we care about the carbon dioxide? I don't think we do. I think we just let that float to the bottom of our base. We're letting a whole bunch of gases float down here for now because it's not really our priority. 1 second then. Let's just core atlasis. We also moved all the poke shells that were over here. All of those poke shells, they have all been migrated over to this side, out of the way. I'm thinking this will sort of be our new core base area. We do have to move some beds and things around, which means all of these floors have to go and be restored to normal level floors. Right, done, cleared out. New ranches installed, and I believe we've pre-chilled all the plates before we even started. This little system's not so bad. It does jam up though if you leave it running forever. But that's kind of a good thing. I don't want all of this coldness recirculating around and eventually dragging down the temperatures in here too cold. We'd like the blumlums to stay alive, if at all possible. What are we looking at? 5 of 6, 5 of 6, 6 of 6, 4 of 6. Okay, we need to move a few more over. I think we might have to come up with a second incubator. Actually, no. If we just let it run, it should eventually even out. What's messing me up is I'm manually moving a bunch of them, so it's kind of throwing things all out of whack. Yeah, we'll just let the incubators naturally catch up. Okay. But that means we're good on the algae front. We've got 360 tons, and I'm pretty sure it's going to keep going up. We've also got a whole bunch of extra space down here. I'm going to move the bedrooms down a slot just real quick. It's just a case of I would like to sort of make everything in here in line. Sort of that way. Yeah, easy peasy. Perfect. Now that's 16, 32, that's 64 beds available for sleeping in. The reason I did that is I did a bit of calculations on how many dupes you could support with just this amount of blumlums. 72. This is producing enough oxygen to support 72 dupes. Now, we're assuming they all consume 100 grams a second, so 60 kilos a cycle. No special diver's lungs or anything. So 72 dupes can be supported on this. That would require, assuming they're all boops, not regular dupes, and actually required batteries and things, that would require 17 megawatts of power. Which, yes, we have got now that we're overclocking these. However, all the other power demands on our grid, we might want to increase the power supply. So there's a few things that need to be done. First, this alveovira farm needs to be changed. We basically want to make it labor-free, and well, that was always the plan, or was a suggested plan, and it was a very good one. If we go up here and check this location, there is a Juicy Fruits. Juicy Fruits are interesting in that they self-harvest. Self-harvest ungrown. So what we can do is just seal them into a room. Our boops never have to go back in. So assuming we set this up in an automated way, make sure the gas is delivered automatically, the oxide is extracted automatically, we can just extract vast quantities of oxide from the CO2 for nothing. Are we going to use it? No. But that's never stopped us from doing something silly before. So we'll just stack a bunch of them in there. It might... Ooh, we probably have enough Weezeworts. If we don't, we'll buy them out of the gate. Might require a few changes. Now, power-wise, we're also going to have to plant a Saturn Critter Trap farm. 12 of them hooked up to a gas pump. We can do things with that. We also need to move our amber farm. Turns out we're moving our entire base is going to be sort of segmented back to the left. So we're going to have to rip out a bunch of stuff here, probably move some things around. But that means we can start putting in transport tubes, a whole bunch of proper logistics, which means this has got to go. We can move that somewhere else. We have plenty of amber, and the only thing we needed the amber for anyway was the plastic. And when we move the amber, we can put in a proper amber melter. If you melt the amber, it's more efficient for getting out the actual resin that you want. Anything else? No, I think that's actually the main things we need to get done. Ooh, also this farm design. I like it. Now, without going to a test map, what you normally end up doing, or what I normally would end up doing, is I take this nuclear waste, compress it down until it's about 2 tons in a tile. You need, I think it's 1450 or 1850 kilos. If you have any less than that in a tile and you chill it down to freezing point, it just turns into debris. You make an actual solid tile and debris doesn't emit radiation. Solid tiles are required, so you have to compress it down, then freeze it, which is kind of annoying. So what I wanted to do here is see if it was possible to make this at a liquid temperature. And yeah, works just fine and you can grow them. The trick was to basically surround the tiles and then double layer it so you can have down crops and up crops all at the same time. So another thing we could do is we could put Laura plants that we've mutated on the bottom. So yeah, that could get a bit tricky, especially with the bees. No, we could make that work. Actually, we definitely could make that work. You know what? That can wait for another episode. For now, I think this is sufficient. The fact that we've got 72 dupes worth of O2 coming in now and the ability to expand more. Once we stick in a second farm for bog buckets, we'll basically have all the oxygen we need to max out at 100 boops. Even a little bit more. What's the O2 efficiency again on this? Okay, my numbers have to be way off on this. I've just done some napkin math. Basically half arsing it. But 35 kgs of water would support 3 dupes, or 3 boops. Because 35 kgs of water is what it takes to run one of these bog buckets that supports 0.58 of one of these guys, one of these boop things. They produce enough algae, 198 kilos I think it is, that even after the inefficiencies of converting that into oxygen, it still supports 3 boops. To do the same thing, okay, I'm explaining this badly. 35 kgs of water to support 3 boops, assuming you use bog buckets and farm stations. We're not going to count the fertilizer cost. It actually does cost some water, but this is napkin stuff. To do this with electrolyzers would cost 203 kilos of water, converting the water into oxygen. So this costs 18% as much water to make oxygen by running it through fog buckets into blumlums into oxidized oxygen diffusers. Yes, there's multiple more steps, and as well as that, it's going to cost you power because if you run an electrolyzer setup, it's usually self-powering, so there's no power requirements. Each one of these requires, I think it's 120 watts or something. Yeah, it's not that much. Yeah, it's 120 watts per unit. So you're definitely costing yourself power to do it, but you're able to turn a very small amount of water into a lot of oxygen. Generally not a big deal, but if you were, say, doing one of those micro maps, this would be a great way. Oh, it'd actually also be very complicated. You need radiation and you know what? Let's not worry about that. Siobhan is going to the UK Nationals in Bradford, UK tomorrow, and I'm going with her. They've got this lovely pub across the road that does, well, charges very little for whiskey. Though I think that the kid that was actually serving me didn't know how much the whiskeys cost at the time. I hope he still works there and still hasn't learned. I mean, hope springs eternal and all that. But yes, that will be where I am this weekend. Siobhan, of course, will have a good time. She's going to get to puzzle. Win, lose, or draw. She's always happy to get into a bit of puzzling. And me, I'm always happy to go to a pub. Kind of works out. But next up, Alveo Vero Farm, fully automated so we don't have to do anything with it. We'll probably rip out one of these beta hives. Oh my god, they've almost cleaned out this place as well. Just your still bees. Move the amber farm. We might do that sooner rather than later. Also, we have to make an amber melter, but that one I think I'll leave for even longer. All we really need the amber for is plastic, and we have 33 tons, so we're good on that front. And since we're making everything out of iridium, it's kind of insane at this point. Like, pretty much everything over here, from the power wires to the steam turbines to all the piping, the temperature shift plates, everything, even the liquid pumps, everything's made out of iridium. So much of everything that we are making is made out of that stuff. How much steel we got? We've still got 64 tons of steel we haven't been using because why? We're just pulling down the iridium faster than we can, well, just about as fast as we're spending it. Our current rocket already has about 5 tons of the stuff on hand, and according to this, there's still 47 tons of mass left here to extract. But that will be for another day. For now, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.